Hello students. In the last session we have seen IoT design methodology with the help of home automation system. Okay. So in this session we are going to look at wireless protocols. Okay, and we are going to discuss about RFID protocol. So I think from the previous sessions you remember these two famous models. One is OSI model which contains 7 layers and TCP/IP model which contains 4 layers. So the wireless protocols we are going to discuss, uh, most of them will fall under this layer in the TCP/IP model, which is network access layer, and sometimes it is called link layer. Okay. If you see the OSI model, the protocols, most of the protocols we are going to see will fall under these two layers, physical layer as well as data link layer. So in the previous sessions I have explained the functionalities of each and every layer. Okay. So right. So there are different communication technologies available in the market. So which technology is which technology to be chosen? That choice is dependent upon these four factors. One can be network topology, topology in the sense whether it is star topology, mesh topology, bus topology, etc. Mm, Another factor is power consumption. So in IoT in particular, the power consumption should be low. It should be less. Okay. And transmission power efficiency. So transmission power in the sense transmitting the data. Okay. So this efficiency can be in terms of speed. It can be in terms of range. Okay. And another factor is latency. So the delay should be less. Okay. So whatever technology you are choosing for your IoT system or IoT application, you can choose them based on these factors. Okay. Right. And if you consider protocols, the protocols development as well as deploying those protocols is based on these factors. Mm, First thing is medium access techniques. So I am not going to discuss about these medium access techniques. It is out of scope. You will learn these things in computer network subject. So there are several medium access techniques like FDMA, frequency division multiple access. You have TDMA, time division multiple access. You have SISMA CD, carrier sense multiple access with collision detection, and so many others. Okay. And another factor is data rate. So the rate at which the data is being transmitted and received. Another factor is communication mode, like simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. And the transmission range, that is the distance. Okay. And the last factor is power consumption, like you have seen in the previous slide. It is also a factor in developing and deploying protocols. Okay. Right. So look at this diagram. So here we have 5 layers. So this is the TCP/IP stack. So sometimes the 4 layers are expanded into 5 layers. So typically these two are represented as a single layer, but here we are showing them as separate layers. Okay, so there are 5 layers, and you can see here the wireless technologies we are going to discuss in this unit, most of them will fall under this bottom two layers, physical layer as well as data link layer. Okay, so we will look at uh, RFID, radio frequency identification. We will not discuss this NFC, but anyhow I have put it there. NFC means near field communication. Okay, so we will look at BLE, Bluetooth low energy. We will also discuss about Bluetooth. So both are different. Bluetooth is different and Bluetooth low energy is different. This BLE is specifically developed for IoT applications. Um, then we will look at Wi-Fi. I think all of you are familiar with Wi-Fi, and we will discuss about cellular technologies like 3G, 4G, and 5G. We will look at IEEE 802.15.4. This is a very famous protocol which is frequently used in IoT use cases. And we will look at 6LoWPAN, and we will look at Zigbee protocol. Okay, so if you see here, the bottom row, which is IEEE 802.15.4, BLE, RFID, Wi-Fi, and these cellular technologies, they are useful, or they implement the functionalities of these two layers. Okay, data link layer as well as physical layer. So if you want to have the functionality of network layer, transport layer, and other layers, you have to use some other technologies. For example, here we can see this IP version 6. Okay, so if you use IP version 6, you will get the functionality of network layer. That is, you can have routers, that is layer 3 devices. A router is a layer 3 device. Okay, and if you want to have the functionalities of transport layer, you have to use either TCP or UDP. Okay, and application layer, that is for developing your applications. The applications will communicate either using HTTP or CoAP, or there are other protocols like AMQP. You have XMPP and all other protocols which you can use. At the application layer, you have HTTPS. Okay, right. So if you see here the Zigbee protocol includes the functionalities of all layers. Okay, so Zigbee, there are Zigbee routers. If you want to buy, there are Zigbee routers, and it has transport layer functionalities, and you can also develop applications using Zigbee protocol. Okay, right. And one more thing I want to mention is this 6LoWPAN. It is actually falls under this network layer. It also includes some functionality of data link layer. That's why it is placed in between network layer and data link layer. So this is like a IP version 6 sibling or something. Okay, so since IP version 6 cannot be used for IoT, that's why they have developed this new protocol 6LoWPAN, which includes network layer functionality to route the data from one place to another place. Okay, right. So the main protocols we are going to look at in this unit are physical and or MAC layer protocols. Okay, so based on the range, they are divided like this. So the short range protocols and long range protocols. So short range protocols typically less than 1 kilometer distance. Okay, maybe to few kilometers. So after that, these protocols cannot be used to transfer data. Okay, so the range is very limited, short range, and you have long range protocols greater than 1 kilometer. Okay, so short range protocols, and I have represented uh, many protocols here, but in the syllabus we have RFID, we have Bluetooth, we have Bluetooth low energy, we have a IEEE 802.15.4, which is called low rate wireless personal area network, that is a LRWPAN. We have this Wi-Fi. Okay, the remaining things, NFC, wireless, wireless HART, Z-Wave, and weightless, they are not there. If interested, you can look up them in the internet. And if you come to long range protocols, we have only this. We will be discussing about 3G, 4G, and 5G. If you are interested, you can look up regarding this LoRa and Sigfox. They are long range protocols, right? Okay. So in this session, we are going to look at RFID, radio frequency identification. If you see here, it's a short range protocol. Okay. So before going to look at some of the important points regarding RFID, we are going to directly look at the working principle. So generally what happens in RFID is we have two parts, two main parts, or you can say two main components. One is this tag or transponder, generally we call them RFID tags, and another part is this radar, or sometimes it is also called interrogator. Okay, so the waves you are looking in are radio waves. So RFID works based on radio waves, radio frequencies. Okay, so this tag is fixed to devices. Devices or any things. Okay, so let's say whenever you are going into company, your identity card will have some RFID tag. It is attached to your identity card, and once you enter the company, you will take your card near this radar. Okay, once you get your identity card with the tag to your near your radar, the radar will read the tag. Okay, so what happens is the radar, the antenna which is attached to the radar, will be emitting these radio waves. On catching these radio waves or sensing these radio waves, the tag will respond back with whatever data it is having. Okay, and generally some kind of identification number or identification code will be there inside this tag. That the information will be passed on to radar, which will be sent to a computer where it will validate the data which is sent by the tag. Okay, so this is how RFID technology works. There are two main components, one is a tag and another one is radar. Okay, now let's see some points regarding this RFID technology. So full form is radio frequency identification. So it is a set of technologies whose aim is to identify and recognize elements. Okay, so these elements will be having these tags. So we will fix these tags onto the elements or devices or things which you want to be identified. Okay, so you can see here the RFID system contains two types of devices. One is devices to be identified, which contains tags, and device identifiers, which are radars. Okay, right. So if you see here, tagged devices are triggered by radio frequency waves. Like I said here, the antenna will be emitting radio frequency waves. Okay, and uh, the tags will reply with the IDs. Right? That is how this works. So who will handle the exchange of data? It is handled by radars. So radar is the actual device, physical device, which will be reading the data from tags. Okay, and whenever necessary, radars will be sending these RF waves for interrogating the tags which are there in the area or vicinity. For example, in IoT, if you consider IoT application, one IoT application is inventory management. Okay, I have talked about this in one of the previous sessions. So you will place the tags on the inventory items, and you will use the radar. Maybe the radars can be fixed in some of the locations inside the warehouse or somewhere, or the radar can be moving also. It is based on the application. Let's say there is a drone. Okay, you can fix the RFID radar to the drone, and the drone will move across the warehouse. While it is moving across the warehouse, it gathers the data from tags. Okay, and the data will be sent to receiver, either computer or server or whatever it is. Okay, so this is how this RFID typically works. Mm, and interrogation, right? Interrogation generally means asking questions. So who is asking the questions here? The radar is asking questions, and the tag will reply with the data. Typically it contains IDs. That is the data it will transfer to radar. Okay, so and this transmission of data depends on the proximity of the tag, that is the distance between the radar and tag. If the tag is out of range, it will not be able to transmit data to the radar. So it is based on the proximity or distance of the tag to the radar device. Okay, and one important thing is the tags can transfer the data even though it is not in the line of sight. That means if you have tag like this and the radar is like this, okay, and let's say there are people which are coming in between the tag and the radar, some, let's say some crowd is coming, even then it can transmit data, the tags can transmit data, whatever. Okay, so that is the meaning of this last point. Even though the tag is not in the line of sight, the radar can still read the data from tag. Of course, the strength of the signals will reduce, but still the radar can get the data. Okay, alright. So this is a classification of the RFID devices, either tags or radars. So first classification is done based on the frequency of the waves. So based on the frequency of the waves, there are three types of RFID devices. One is low frequency, next is high frequency, and last one is ultra high frequency. And typically in IoT, the devices they will use is these things: ultra high frequency RFID tags. Okay, so if you see here, the frequency increases, the range will also increase. Okay, so range will also increase. That means the range of ultra high frequency tags is far greater than low frequency RFID tags. Okay, so typically in IoT applications we need long range sensors. So these RFID tags or devices, smart tags, can act as sensors and they should have long range. So that's why they will use ultra high frequency tags. Okay, so the second classification is based on communication. Okay, and we have three categories. One is active, passive and semi-passive. So if you look at active devices, active tags or active radars, they have their own power source. Okay, they will have battery, their own power source, and they will also have transmitter for sending data. Okay, active devices will have their own power source, may not be a battery, but generally it is battery, and they will have their own transmitter. Passive devices, they will not have any power source, no power source. And semi-passive, they will have power source, that is they will be powered on their own, generally through batteries, but the difference is there will be no transmitter. They don't have their own transmitter. Okay, so that is the classification based on communication: active devices, passive devices and semi-passive devices. And the active devices are further classified into transponders and beacons. Okay, so what is the difference between transponders and beacons is, if you have reactive RFID tags which are transponders, you need a radar for reading the data. That means the radar should be taken close to RFID tags in order to get the data. Okay, but if you take beacons, the beacons, that is the active RFID tags which are considered as beacons, they will send data automatically to the radar. The radar does not, there is no need for the radar to come close to the tags. The tags will automatically send the data, maybe for every 5 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever time you have set. I mean the interval. Okay, right? So that is the difference between transponders and beacons. So that is about RFID technology. So once again, so we have seen factors for choosing the right technology, and we have seen the factors for development and deployment of protocols, and we have seen the overview of protocols that we are going to discuss, and then we have seen the protocols that falls under physical and or MAC layer, the classification based on the range, short range protocols and long range protocols, and then we have seen RFID working, the working principle. So it typically contains two components, one is tags, another one is radar, and we have seen these points, and finally we have seen the classification, frequency based classification and communication. Mm. Okay, so that's it for this session. In the next session we will be looking at Bluetooth and Bluetooth low energy.